Could Sidney and Tatum's relationship mirror a familiar mother-daughter tandem seen in the Scream universe before? I will delve into the idea. But first, a special message from America's favorite granny.
Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm Jake.
I'm Granny.
And subscribe to...
I shot him 6 times, motherfucker.
What's going on, horror fanatics? I'm Marcus. Welcome to our Shot 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel. In this video, I will be discussing Scream 7 and sharing an idea that I have in regards to Sidney and her daughter Tatum's relationship, as I believe there is a possibility that their relationship could mirror a familiar mother-daughter relationship seen before in the Scream universe. I will also be discussing a news to mocker clue that was brought to my attention by a fellow viewer here at the channel, and I will also be discussing my thoughts on the test screenings that have come out over the last couple weeks, as well as the upcoming second trailer that is set to release tomorrow. If you're a fan of Scream and other horror movie related content, please shoot and hype this video. It definitely helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you are new here to the channel, shoot that subscribe button followed by the bell icon for all content updates. One of the main storylines that I think both Scream 7 and Scream 8 will be focusing on will be the relationship between Sidney Prescott and her eldest daughter Tatum. Now, in regards to Scream 7, I do assume that we will see Sidney's younger children show up at some point in this movie. However, I think it is safe to say at this point that they will not be featured or have the role that Tatum is slated to have. And I think the biggest question in regards to the relationship between Sidney and Tatum is, how will this relationship between mother and daughter be portrayed throughout the entirety of Scream 7, bleeding into Scream 8? And I do believe along the way, leading into the film, we have gotten some subtle clues via some rumors, as well as a particular scene shown in the Scream 7 trailer where we get to hear some dialogue from Tatum speaking to Sidney. One of the rumors that came out a few months ago in regards to Sidney and Tatum's relationship, now again, it is a rumor, take it for what you will, but I do believe that this rumor will turn out to be true once we get to see the movie. And the rumor went on to state that Sidney is supposed to be having a beef with her daughter Tatum because of Tatum's boyfriend Ben. Sidney does not like Ben, doesn't trust him. He gives her Billy Loomis type of vibes. So obviously this would cause friction between the two, because obviously Tatum will want her mom to like her boyfriend, but more importantly, she would want her mother to trust that she would surround herself with the right people and trust that she is adult enough to take care of herself. That leads me to this moment in the Scream 7 trailer where we get a scene of Sidney and Tatum having a conversation, and you hear Tatum tell Sidney, "I want to be a fighter just like you." Now, the reason why I believe that line of dialogue is important, especially when you take into account what I just mentioned about Sidney and Tatum possibly having this beef because of Tatum's boyfriend Ben, and maybe Tatum feels like Sidney is smothering her, doesn't trust her to make adult-like decisions, and doesn't trust her to surround herself with the right people, is because in this moment when she is speaking to Sidney and she is saying that line of dialogue, "I want to be a fighter just like you," it's not that line of dialogue that stands out to me. It's how she says it. It's the delivery. "I want to be a fighter just like you." In my opinion, this is Tatum seeking validation and approval from Sidney. She wants Sidney to trust that she can make adult-like decisions. She wants Sidney to trust that in sticky situations, she can think like an adult. I think that you can mix the rumor as well as the dialogue in together and come up with the fact that it seems that Sidney is going to be portraying an overprotective type of parent in this movie, and that Tatum is going to be portraying the offspring who wants their parent to let them grow up, so to speak. And this is something that I spoke about last year when Kevin Williamson was announced to direct Scream 7, as well as when the rumors start swirling that Sidney Prescott's oldest daughter would be the main focus alongside of her in this movie, is that they could very well be taking a page out of Halloween H2O, which would be making Sidney Prescott, much like Laurie Strode / Carrie Tate was in that movie, an overprotective, overbearing parent who in so many ways would not allow her soon-to-be adult child to grow up and make adult decisions for themselves. You've seen Carrie Tate in Halloween H2O, snap at John. No off-campus lunches, John. You're not supposed to do shit like this. What the fuck do you think you're doing? You know, stuff of that nature. And though I do not expect Sidney to be as overdramatic as Carrie Tate's character was in that movie, I do definitely think when you take into account what I mentioned about Sidney not liking Tatum's boyfriend, as well as the fact that Tatum seems to be seeking some type of validation or approval for that adult decision consent from Sidney, like I just previously mentioned, I definitely do think you can make the case that we will be seeing certain moments in this relationship between Sidney and Tatum mirror what we've seen from Laurie Strode / Carrie Tate's character with her son John in Halloween H2O. But I also think that in Scream 7, they could be taking a page out of their own playbook in regards to the Scream universe and mirroring Sidney and Tatum's relationship after another mother-daughter relationship that we've seen in the Scream universe before, just on TV. That's right, I believe the mother-daughter relationship between Sidney and Tatum in Scream 7 could mirror the mother-daughter relationship that was seen in Scream the TV series in Season 1 and Season 2 between the Maggie and Emma Duval characters. And the reason why I believe this is a strong possibility is because we are already kind of seeing some of this mirroring take place. Think about it. In Scream the TV show, what did we see when Ghostface really started making the phone calls and started attacking people? They basically started with Emma, right? Now, I'm not saying it's going to be the same in Scream 7. Like, we're going to see Ghostface call, Tatum's character first. But what I am saying is that Ghostface in Scream the TV series went after Emma, Maggie's daughter, as a way to toy with her psychologically, but more importantly, as a way to expose all the lies and all the secrets that she has been keeping and telling for so many years. A few months ago, I did a video for Scream 7 talking about the possibility of Sidney's character having a secret that has yet to be exposed, that could be exposed in either Scream 7 and Scream 8. And when I did this video and I brought up this idea, I know a lot of fans weren't really on board with it because a lot of fans don't want Sidney to really change. They want her to remain the same. But I personally do think that there needs to be something new about this character in order to freshen her up. And in my opinion, I think what would be a nice edge to the character is if you did, in so many ways, kind of have her mirror her mother Maureen and kind of play into that idea and that fear that she always had of turning into her mother Maureen. Because in my opinion, you can't just have this Ghostface killer be the same old cliche, oh, it's somebody's from Sidney's past in regards to Maureen, her mother, or her brother Roman, or whatnot, and stuff like that. It can't just be that. It can't just be because she's Sidney Prescott. And I'm a crazy Stab fan, and I'm such a huge fan, but we gotta have new material, so you have to die, Sidney. Or, like Jill's motive, I want to become you, Sidney. I want to be the final girl, which means you have to die. You have to be expendable. It can't be any of those things. In order for this to be successful, in my opinion, especially in regards to a Ghostface reveal, a motive, in my opinion, you might have to go in that direction of making Sidney a little heelish, giving her a little edge to her. She can't just be the same old goody two-shoe, in my opinion. That shit's stale at this point. Yes, she is a badass, but she is a badass who's a goody two-shoe. Let's just call it for what it is. And me personally, I would not mind them tapping into somewhat of a secret side of Sidney. She's only human. Humans make mistakes all the time, right? And oddly enough, for as many people when I made that video who showed up in my comment section and showed displeasure of the idea, now there are many fans within the fandom that believe there is a possibility that Tatum might not be Sidney's husband, Mark's child. And I think that's very, very interesting because even though we don't have any real details on that theory, imagine if that theory were to come out to be true. Then that would be a very big secret that Sidney was hiding not only from Mark but from Tatum for so many years and lying about, which would be very similar and in so many ways an homage to the Maggie Duvall character in Scream the TV series. I will also quickly note that a lot of fans of the Scream franchise who are also fans of the TV series also had the same idea and thought for the Emma Duvall character. Many fans thought that Emma Duvall could have been the daughter of Brandon James, the Lakewood slasher, because of his secret relationship with her mother Maggie. The mother-daughter dynamic that was showcased in Scream the TV series is not the only homage or reference from the TV series that I expect to see show up in Scream 7, because when you take a close look at Tatum's friend group, especially when you look up their bios and information online, so on and so forth, her friend group is very similar to the friend group that Emma Duvall had in Scream the TV series. And I bring this up is because if you go back to the original film and you look at Sidney's friend group, it was just Sidney and Tatum as the only two girls, with Billy, Stu, and Randy being three guys. So 2 girls and 3 guys. Fast forward to Scream the TV series, with Emma Duvall's friend group, you see it's Emma, her 2 girlfriends, and 2 guys. 3 girls and 2 guys. Fast forward to Scream 7, we see Tatum with her 2 lady friends, and then we know Tatum's boyfriend is also going to be in the mix, as well as Lucas's character, who is Sidney's best friend's son. So again, 3 girls and 2 guys, similar to Scream the TV series. It is also worth mentioning, and I actually brought this up in a video when McKenna Grace was announced to be casted in Scream 7 as the Hannah character, along with her bio that was leaked out as well. And her character is literally a direct homage, in my opinion, to the Brooke Maddox character in Scream the TV series. She is said to be very rich, the queen bee of the friend group, and if you are familiar with Scream the TV series, then you know for a fact that that was literally Brooke Maddox's character in that show. Now, I know some of you are probably wondering why I left Noah and Audrey's characters out of mention in regards to Emma Duvall's friend group in Scream the TV series, and the reason why I did that is because at the beginning of the series, they are not friends with Emma. They are not a part of that main friend group that you see in that overlay that I provided. It is only later that Audrey and Emma rekindle their friendship, and it is only later in later episodes that Noah and Audrey are paired with the main friend group, similar to what we will be seeing out of the Chad and Mindy Meeks Martin characters in Scream 7. As yes, they were a part of the last 2 films, but when it comes to this new main friend group that we will be following in Scream 7, they have no connection to them other than when they arrive in Pine Grove with Gale Weathers. So much like Audrey and Noah were for the first few episodes of Scream the TV series, Chad and Mindy will be on the outside looking in up until they are forced into action, much like Noah and Audrey were in the TV series. I think the biggest clue of all, though, in regards to Scream 7, not only paying homage to the Scream TV series, but also mirroring certain aspects of the TV series and incorporating it into film 7 and 8, is the fact that we are getting the setting of Pine Grove, Indiana, in back-to-back movies, following a continuing storyline. And the reason why I think it's important to phrase it that way is because usually when we are on a continuing storyline in the Scream franchise, it picks up in a new location. Whether it was Windsor College in Scream 2, Hollywood in Scream 3, New York in Scream 6, following the Carpenter sister storyline, not Sidney's storyline. You guys get the gist. The only other time in the Scream franchise where we have gotten the same location in back-to-back movies was in Scream 4 and in Scream 5. But the difference here is that in those movies, the storylines were completely different, as well as the protagonists. The reason why I think it's important to phrase it that way is because in Scream 7, it seems they are adopting the formula that was set in Scream the TV series, where a storyline picks up in a certain location and then, for the second part of the story, returns to that same location and continues the story. Given everything that I just mentioned, I do think it's very possible and quite intriguing if Scream 7 and Scream 8 were to adopt this Scream TV series style approach, because it's different. You know, we never have had a continuing storyline pick up in the same location as the previous film, and I think it adds more depth. not only to the characters, but to the location itself. And that's something that I felt Scream the TV series did a really good job with the Lakewood setting. They made Lakewood as much as of a character as the characters in Lakewood. And I just can't help but think, right? Especially if you are a Stu Truther like I am. Like, why is this killer picking Pine Grove as the setting to come after Sidney? There's been multiple times Sidney has been back in Woodsboro, Scream 4, Scream 5 in particular, and this killer, who seems to be from the past, never targeted Sidney there as we know of at this moment, right? So why pick Pine Grove? Well, this one's for my Stu Truthers, and I've kind of been thinking about this here lately. What if, especially if it is Stu, right, like we believe it is, what if the reason he picked the Pine Grove setting as opposed to the Woodsboro setting, and why he chose to burn down the old Mocker residence, is because Pine Grove was where Stu was born? Yes, Pine Grove was the original birthing place to Stu Mocker. Just because Stu Mocker may have grew up in Woodsboro with Sidney does not mean he was born in Woodsboro. You guys know how that shit works in real life. I'm sure many of us has moved from one state to another with our family. Some of us have not, but some of us have. So you guys know that that's very, very possible. So what if, especially if Stu is revealed alive, what if it is also revealed that Pine Grove was where he was born, which would explain why he picked this location to go after Sidney one last time. Hey, I'm not saying it's going to happen that way, but I'm just throwing out an idea in regards to making sense as to why this particular setting of Pine Grove and the Stu Mocker character are basically correlated together based on what we see in the trailer and based on the information that we have. Speaking of Stu Mocker, I want to give a special shout out to viewer and subscriber Monda Georgie for pointing out this Stu Mocker Easter egg and clue that I totally missed when watching the Scream 7 trailer that holds a lot of significance, especially in regards to this killer being Stu Mocker in the 7th installment. Now, we see Ghostface chasing after Sidney and Tatum in their home to where they hide in the panic room and then they start walking behind the walls in order to hide from them. So Ghostface kind of, already knows this is what's going on. At least it seems that way. So what does Ghostface do? Well, they proceed to stab through the walls, right? But before stabbing through the wall, what does Ghostface do? They tap on the wall to see if they can hear any noise. The reason why that's significant is because in the original Scream movie, when Sidney is trying to lock the car doors to Dewey's police jeep, what does Ghostface do before brandishing the keys, showing Sidney that they have the keys? They tap the knife on the window in the same fashion that you see Ghostface tapping the knife on the wall in the trailer for Scream 7. Now, I know a lot of the non-true Stuthers will be like, that wasn't Stu, that was Billy chasing after Sidney, so on and so forth. I implore you to go back and rewatch that ending, or at least the final act of Scream 1996. And look how close Stu was to the outside of the house compared to Billy. And you come back and then tell me it was Billy who was the one who attacked Sidney in Dewey's police jeep. And it was Billy who was the one who was tapping the knife on the window. I'm not buying it. This is one of those moments where suspending disbelief does not work. In my opinion, it was Stu Mocker who was the one who attacked Sidney Prescott in Dewey's jeep. He is the one who is tapping the knife on the window, and he is the one who is tapping the knife on the walls in this scene in Sidney's house in Scream 7. And I will briefly mention the fact that we do have test screenings that have been released for Scream 7 as of last week. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, this is why it's going to be brief. I am trying my best. I am fighting for my life not to find out anything that have came out of these test screenings. I'm happy at the fact that a lot of people who went to these test screenings, or the people who did go, they enjoyed it, they praised it, they said it was really good. However, I do not want to run into the same situation that I had to go through in the summer with I Know What You Did Last Summer with Scream 7. Because as you guys are all well aware, when Scream 6 came out, everybody, I want to say everybody, but a lot of people, content creators, fans, were definitely spoiled on who the killers were in that movie. And that is something that I'm definitely trying to avoid for Scream 7, not only for myself, but more importantly for you guys, the viewer, because I want us all to go into Scream 7 and by the end of it be pleasantly surprised at what they do. Even if they bring back Stu Macher or they don't bring back Stu Macher. One way or another, I want to be genuinely surprised, I want to be highly entertained, and I want there to be moments where I shit my pants out of fear, because that's what Scream is all about. It's about making you feel all the emotions that you want to feel while watching a horror movie. And I just don't want any of us to get caught up in what is being said from those who have seen the test screenings, because again, just because people have seen a test screening, we don't know exactly if what they've seen in that test screening is actually going to be in the final cut of the movie. But just in case it actually is, we don't want to know any of that stuff. We want to be genuinely and pleasantly surprised. So, with that being said, I'm happy to hear that test screenings went great. I'm happy to hear that the people who went to the test screenings really enjoyed it. And hopefully, I feel the same way, and we all feel the same way by the time we get the official cut of the movie to come out in February 2026. And real quick before I end the video, in a few short hours, as it is 1:15 a.m. Eastern Time here on the East Coast, here in good old Pennsylvania, where I am from, we are going to be getting the highly coveted second trailer for Scream 7. And I'm going to keep it brief as I did with the test screening discussion. I just hope that with this second trailer, they don't show too much like they did in the first trailer. Like in regards to death scenes, like it's so easy to know who's going to die in that first trailer unless they decide not to go with those deaths in the final cut of the movie, because that could very well happen. But I just hope that we get some really good scenes that really make us think, really make us put on our thinking caps, and really make us theorize as to what we're looking at, instead of making it so easy like, oh, yep, Mark Evans is going to die. Oh, yep, Michelle Randolph's character who's hanging from the ceiling in Stu Macher's house, she's a fucking goner. Like, so easy to predict stuff like that. Like, I want that out of this second trailer. And what I want is a more influx of some difficulty type scenes. Like, I want this shit to be like the highest level of Madden, like all Madden. You know, the highest level of a video game tough in regards to breaking down this second trailer. I don't want no fucking soft touches. I want some fucking shit that's going to really make me think. I want to look at this trailer and really be like this. Fuck am I looking at? Like, what are they trying to tell me? That's what I want. That's what I love about this franchise, especially in the first couple of movies, is that they really made you put your thinking caps on in regards to what was going to happen and who the killers were going to be. So, fingers crossed, Scream 7 trailer number 2 doesn't show as much as the first Scream 7 trailer did. But, again, this is it for the Scream 7 related video. Please leave a comment down in the comment section below. It not only helps the YouTube channel, but I want to hear from you guys. I always love discussing these type of conversations with you guys and hearing you guys' thoughts. What do you make of the idea of Scream 7, not just for Sidney and Tatum's storyline, but Scream 7 and Scream 8 as a whole, kind of adopting the approach of Scream the TV series with the whole setting of Pine Grove being set back-to-back films, as well as everything that I talked about in here in the video. I want to know what you guys think about this. I think this is one of the more fascinating ideas / theories that anyone has come up with. And I want to know what you guys think about it. Once again, I'm Marcus, and this is our Shoutout 6 Times YouTube Horror Movie channel. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media platforms as well. Thank you all for watching.